This week on LCARA Ham Radio, two clubs come together, Big South Fork Amateur Radio Club and Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, to join together and work the McCreary Gravel Rally. This is part one in our series on the rally and how ham radio can benefit the community. This week on LCARA Ham Radio. Well, this week we took our travel trailers, our trucks, and the emergency communications trailer, and we set up at the McCreary County Fairgrounds in preparation for the McCreary Gravel Rally. The fairgrounds will act as net control, and as you can see, we have the LCARA emergency communications trailer outfitted and ready to go. So I'm just zooming in a little bit there on the Starlink terminal we're going to use for internet. We've got an antenna way up in the air so that we can get some signals bouncing around from the different valleys and from the different locations. This is a challenging area because of the mountains and the valleys to getting communications back to net control. And the Gravel Rally really can't do this without the help of those hams. This is the inside of the MCOM trailer. Some of you have seen this already in previous videos from when we put this trailer together, and we're looking at some of the frequencies we're going to use for that weekend. And then there's Miss Wanda holding down the fort. So let's break to a quick introduction and interview with the organizers. Alrighty, this is KY4BDP Brian for the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, and we've got Bernie Obry on your camera left, and we've got Matt Earl on your camera right. And these are the two gentlemen that are helping us with the organization of setting on this gravel rally. And this is the inaugural event here in McCreary County, one of the counties that we support in ham radio. Now, we are working with another club, Big South Fork Amateur Radio Club. They also work this territory as well. And so we're working as two clubs together. And that's one of the things that our club always tries to emphasize. It's not all about one club sometimes. You got to work together. Now, I will start with Bernie really quickly here. Bernie, what was the impetus to come to McCreary County of all places? It's really easy to miss this on a map. Not putting it down, but there's not a lot here other than Daniel Boone National Forest, and it takes 90% of the county, and there's not a whole lot down here. Why did you come here?
We came here because we were invited to check out the roads by someone that knew what we were looking for. We were looking for a rural community that needed an event to happen in their community that would benefit it, because it's not just about racing and using the roads, it's about giving back to the community. That's one of the first things that I want to emphasize. Rally is a grassroots sport on the level that we run it, and we like to give back to the competitors, give back to the teams, give back to the families, and especially the community that's kind enough to host us when we do it.
Absolutely. And Matt, you contacted me first, and you reached out to our club. Can you give us maybe a little bit of insight on why you reached out to us?
So without a ham radio network, there's absolutely no way that a stage rally can take place. We have to be able to talk to the start and the finish time controls, and by doing that, we keep the rally moving forward and ultimately safe. Right,
because we've got hams strategically placed throughout this event. Mm-hmm. And what are some of the, we'll call them stations, what are the hams doing for this event specifically?
Well, they are the communication network and hub. So we generally, hams are a specialized hobby, like everyone has one, and your specialized hobby allows us to do ours because you're allowing us to have the communications. And particularly rally happens on roads, not on a track, and we are in remote areas where you can find a road that is 6, 8, 10, 12 miles mm-hmm. Of dirt that's uninterrupted and can be closed and not inconvenience the community.
Right.
And we have a good time on those roads, but we can't have a good time if we don't know where our people are, checkpoints, basic communication, and particularly, as Matt said before, safety. And that's what ham gives us, is that safety net. It's not just a ham net, it's not net control, it's a safety net.
And is there an alternative to ham when you run an event like this in an area like this? Is there really an alternative?
Absolutely not. There is nothing like this. There is no Google machine. There is no tracker because of the remote location that we are in, these valleys. I mean, what your two groups have done together to build this network. Particularly, there's one road which you'll be able to talk about somewhere else, I'm sure. I mean, it's 3 mountains on one side of a holler and 2 mountains on the other, and they go around a curve.
Yeah.
You guys are bouncing radio signals all over the place so that we can go fast, or at least the competitors can.
So we've got hams at stage starts, stage finishes, in the middle, spectators, service areas, net control. It takes a lot, actually, to put on an event. When you say the hams are really the backbone, net control is a really important part of all of this, isn't it? Having a central location where all the information comes in, and if EMS has to be deployed, it has to be deployed as quickly as possible.
Yep.
That's correct. We have the EMS already in position on these stages, ready to go, and hopefully never do. But the thing is that we have the clarity of communication and the brevity of the form of communication actually makes it even better, because there's a message, it's delivered quick, crisp, and precise, and done. And there's no variance on that. There's no misunderstanding. And you guys let us talk, like me talking on and on and on here. Okay, I would not be good on the ham. You guys cut it down, and you make sure the message gets through.
All right, guys, I don't want to keep you too long here. I want to thank each of you for bringing this event to our area, because it means a lot to this area. It's economically not as best as it could be, because, again, there's very little opportunity for growth here because the government owns everything around here. And I want to also thank you guys for getting the hams involved. And again, this is 2 clubs. This is not just ours.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that Big South Fork gets a big shout out as well.
Oh, they all
You know, it's just awesome that we can do this. And this is hopefully the inaugural event, meaning that we'll keep coming back year after year. And that way you can count on this type of
I guarantee
support.
you we are coming back, because I already was told that if we didn't put it on, someone else is going to.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. And so I don't want to lose Brian, and I don't want to lose all my friends in the Ham Radio Club in this area. And we are coming back.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thanks so much. Take care. All righty. So as you can see, the Gravel Rally is going to be a lot of fun. With the 2 clubs working together, we're going to make sure that if a car goes off the road, we can get them help as quickly as needed. But it's going to be fun just watching these cars go down these gravel roads. We haven't had a whole lot of rain in the area, so it's going to be also very dusty. So we will try to get some videos and some pictures for part 2 in this series. Here we're looking at some of the cars that are going to be racing tomorrow. There's basically 2 classes of cars. You'll have your Subarus and Jettas and cars of that nature, but you'll also have cars like this guy. And this is a really cool looking car, but you can see it's purpose made for this kind of racing. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got a few more cars coming up here in just a moment. And just another idea about this. The great thing about this rally is how it helps out the community. As you heard from Bernie and Matt, it's about giving back to some of these rural communities that really don't see a lot of this type of exposure. This is a national rally. This is not just something that was put together locally. The folks that participate in this rally will be going for points. They have a number of these rallies throughout the year, and then they will pick, or somebody will win based on points, the national trophy. So this is a pretty cool event, and again, it gives our small community here some really good exposure. Plus, there's a lot of hospitality in some of these small areas. Alrighty, as we finish up the video here, again, this is just part 1. We hope to have some cars at speed in some videos tomorrow. I know we've got a couple of folks with cameras that are going to be out there, hopefully getting us some good pictures and, again, some of those videos. And just so that some of you that are probably more interested in the logistics, we're using crossband repeaters in 6 different locations just to be able to reach net control back at the fairgrounds. It was a very interesting logistical challenge to get the coverage that we need on these stages, both at the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. For the Lake Cumberland Amateur Radio Association, I'm KY4BDP Brian. We'll see you in part number 2. Have fun, and 73.